Hi, I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, with another Global Real Estate School podcast. Welcome to the podcast. My name is John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy, and this is episode 137. I know my numbering might be off somewhere along the line, but it's episode 137 according to the dashboard at Podbean. And I want to say thanks again for listening to the podcast. If you have not subscribed, please be sure and do so. And give us a good rating. We would also appreciate that. Thank you for that. Well, on today's podcast, I'd like to talk to you about, I'm almost certain I've covered this definition, but it's called a latent defect. It's funny, I actually got an email from one of my students who said, "Hey, you didn't cover this in the course material," and kind of was going off on a definition that I had failed to cover. And I immediately knew right where it was in the course material, so I took two screenshots, one of where I talk about the definition and the other one where there's an exam question regarding that topic or that specific definition, and sent it back to the student and said, "Hey, I know there's a lot of material in there, but we did cover that during the course, and you should have been prepared for that on the exam. In fact, I said, I think I even have covered that on a podcast." So I want to go back over this term called a latent defect. And it's basically a defect that a seller might know about. It's normally from faulty construction. And again, it's something the seller probably knows. I mean, they know about this defect, and they are supposed to disclose this to their agent. The agent needs to disclose this to the other agents involved, if it's a buyer's agent or a sub-agent, and they need to make sure that it's disclosed to potential buyers. If this latent defect is hidden and not disclosed, it actually could be, it's misrepresentation, and it could be grounds for rescinding the contract. So we normally disclose these types of items through the seller's disclosure. That's the form that many states have, and a seller needs to disclose anything they know about the property that is a defect, whether it's through poor craftsmanship or it's a leak in the basement due to poor landscaping outside, or whatever the situation. If the seller knows about a latent defect, if they know about a problem, a material defect, they need to disclose that to their agent, who in turn needs to make sure that information is passed on and disclosed to the other agents involved in the transaction, as well as the buyers. So again, it's a latent defect. And an interesting thing about a latent defect, sometimes it's not even noticeable through a reasonable building inspection. I mean, you sometimes don't discover that or find out until after the sale has transpired and you've moved in the house. So yes, we cover latent defects in Module 10. We also have it as an exam question. And by the way, I have a really cool test prep. It's a bunch of practice exam questions that are ideal if you are taking the national exam at globalrealestateschool.com. And guess what? There are questions about latent defects in our test prep exam package that we sell. And I'm almost certain it's one of our digital flashcards. You've got to know these definitions to pass the exam. So check out globalrealestateschool.com, and we have some digital flashcards. We had folks purchasing those yesterday. Thank you for that. You're going to love those because you can download them right to your smartphone, take them with you wherever you go, learn the definitions, and pass the exam on the first attempt. And by the way, go over to our YouTube channel. Just search for Global Real Estate School. You can Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're doing lots of videos and things there. Give us a great rating here. Subscribe to our podcast. And as always, I hope you can go out, make it a great day, and do not forget what a latent defect is. You won't miss that on the exam. Thanks, everyone. Thank you for listening to the podcast for Global Real Estate School. I'm John Mayfield, the Real Estate Tech Guy. Go out and make it a great day.